He won the penalty, initially not given by Sam Allison, the referee. VAR said, you better have a look at this. Penalty awarded, Haaland tucks it away 1-1. And then Savinho dispossessing Muric on the edge of his own area with no real danger around him. And he passed it to De Bruyne, who guided it into the open net. And then about 2 minutes after that, a lovely ball from De Bruyne. Haaland kept his composure and guided it into the back of the net. Lewis then should have made it 4-1, hit the underside of the bar. De Bruyne almost made it 4-1, hit almost the same part of the underside of the crossbar. And therefore, at half-time, although Ipswich had a great claim for a penalty, the score is City 3, Ipswich Town 1. Well, let's go back to the studio. They've got plenty to talk about as well. Steve Howey, Shaun and Cel Spellman.
Welcome back to Matchday Live, where we are live from the Etihad Stadium. And, well, you see, not only am I joined by Shaun and Mr. Steve Howey, I'm joined by our three current trophies. We've got the Club World Cup, we've got the Community Shield, and to my right, the Premier League trophy. It's quite a lot, this, isn't it, Shaun?
We are bringing,
It's quite overwhelming.
I feel like bursting into a champion. We are blinging, definitely.
We'll speak about these trophies in just a moment, but half-time here in our game against Ipswich, Manchester City 3, Ipswich 1, and a scintillating, exhilarating first half of football. Steve, could I get your thoughts, please?
Well, it was weird because before the game, I'd slightly touched on the fact that Ipswich could nick one, daftly, and of course they've gone and do that, and it is a break. Schmodix, who we'd mentioned before about the goal scoring, and Ghost had mentioned before, if he gets chances, he'll score, which he did. The goalkeeper tried his best, but it just goes across the line. But then there was like 5-10 minutes of just madness where City were just like all over them, really, with the goals. I don't know about you two. I thought it was. You're going to take the penalty, 100%. Thought it was a little bit soft. I'll be honest. And then the goalkeeper gets mixed up for the second goal. It's a good, solid finish by Kevin De Bruyne. And the third goal, for me, it's a great pass. It's a great run. But what a finish as well by Haaland, because he does have it so well to get it past the goalkeeper and then just to dink it with his left foot. And then another couple of shots that's hit the bar. I think very good. Lewis should score. And then the one with Kevin, he hits it. I mean, really, it's just there with the goalkeeper, but he can't move because the movement of the ball is all over the place. I've tried not to punk my arms too much because I'm scared of knocking these over. But look, at 3-1 at half-time, would you have taken that at half-time? Yeah, you would. So happy days.
Happy days indeed. Let's dig into the action then. First goal, it was well taken from Ipswich. So just from a defensive point of view, sorry, on that, Steve, what could City have done better to prevent it? Because it was a bit of a shock to the system 7 minutes in.
I think it's a case of probably not being switched on. You know, that might be a bit harsh, but you're just thinking, well, we've got control of the ball, we're fine. All of a sudden, we lose possession, and it's quite easy to sort of really get through. And Smodix is one-on-one. Which the manager, Pep, will be disappointed, but I'm sure the players will be disappointed. But it all of a sudden, it's a wake-up call. It's basically sort of ice-cold water thrown in your face. It's like, wow, hold on a second. You know, we cannot take anybody for granted. They never have. No. And since that point, they haven't either. They haven't.
I mean, then, Shaun, it's 3 minutes and 11 seconds between City's 3 goals. Which is frightening, and we have seen them do that before. Let's break into them then. So the first one, penalty, well taken from Haaland. Deliberation in the studio, maybe Ipswich, if you're an Ipswich fan, might be a little bit unlucky that it was given.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Steve. I think it was a little soft in terms of the penalty, but listen, from City's point of view, you take it. And, you know, Haaland does what he does with penalties. There's no doubt, steps up, puts it away. And it was brilliant. And from that period, City were just relentless. They seemed to have this umbrella sort of shape around, squeezing and pressurizing, not consistently, just in the City's final third. And it was almost as though for that period they couldn't get out. It was just this umbrella shape. The minute they lost it, they won it back, again, another attack. And I just thought this is a period where they had to sort of to weather that storm, because City goes on with the second goal. Savinho pressing, again, having that shape. Savinho is pressing. The ball falls loose, and then De Bruyne just steps onto it and puts it away. Haaland's sniffing around, but he's a step behind. He's a step behind. that's the second goal, and then the third goal, KDB. Once he's got a little bit of time, just a little bit of time, he's putting the ball in. That the ball is so good, and I'm sitting there thinking, if the keeper stays, well, that's still good for the striker. If he has to come out. So the ball is that good, it attracts the goalkeeper to come out, and then he sort of takes it, has that touch, and absolutely finishes. So, it's a brilliant bit of play from City, relentless.
Steve, I mean, you pointed out the finish, but Shaun, obviously, Haaland takes the header to kind of knock that ball past, which kills Muric, and then the finish, though, he still has to live it. It's a difficult finish on that angle with the defender coming in. How difficult is it, again, to execute that?
Yeah, because you can think it's a goal before it's a goal. And if you think it's a goal before it's a goal, your execution of just lobbing it past the last defender, then you could mess that up, because you could think, oh, it's a goal. And you're sort of, in your mind, you're thinking, I'm celebrating, and you don't execute the last bit. So he's done brilliant. He executed the last bit. Oh, well, it's sort of over the recovering defender, because it's sort of in that midriff area where he can't do nothing about it. And it goes in. So it's a wonderful finish. But KDB, his passing, he's knocked a couple quality balls through. To Doku, one probably about 2 inches, just too much. But his passing is unbelievable. He's hit the crossbar. He's looking like himself.
I turned to my brother and said he started the season in full flow. I wanted to mention, though, as well, Savinho, Steve, because he won the penalty, even though say it might be a little bit soft. Also was the one that went and nicked the ball back from Muric, and has been terrorising again down that right-hand side. A brilliant 45 minutes, and as well his debut at the Etihad.
Do you know what I like about him is when he gets the ball, pretty much his first thought is forward.
Yes.
And can I get at the defender? I think a defender, a full-back at that particular point is basically thinking, when he gets the ball, hopefully I can just kind of send him back and just let him pass it back. But he doesn't want to do that. He wants to get the ball and he wants to face you up. As I said, he's very direct, he's quick in his feet. As I said, with the penalty, it's one of them ones, you've got to say it's subjective. I think it's a soft penalty. People will say it's a blatant penalty, people will just sort of say it's not a penalty at all. But he draws the foul, and he makes the defender dive in. Really, you can imagine Kieran McKenna, he's thinking, stay on your feet. If you stay on your feet, really, or you don't jump in there, then if he goes down, the referee probably is booking for simulation.
Yes.
But obviously he gets the penalty, and then the goalkeeper doesn't cover himself in glory, kind of hesitates on the ball a little bit. And with somebody like him who's vastly quick, stupidly quick, he's on it, and then he closes him down, the ball comes loose, and as Good said, it just slotted in by Kevin De Bruyne. But very, very good start from him. He'll be delighted with his first half performance.
Indeed, sure.
What I like with Savinho, because of the type of play he is, if you're a fullback, you're not really going around him, because he can go inside and he can go around on the outside. And Rico is taking up these really clever sort of positions. He's just inside. He's almost like a 8. He's in an 8 position. So he's not in a normal fullback position, whereas when he goes to Savinho and Savinho rolls it back and he's in a normal fullback position, he's actually inside, he's inverted.
Yes.
And so that means from then he could slide a pass himself, he's closer to making a cross. He's even able to go in and do a combination and get a shot off. So his position becomes a real difficult position for them to pick up.
Yes.
Also because of Savinho and his quality to be able to dart on the outside or dart on the inside. So watching that throughout the second half would be really interesting.
He's had a brilliant half again, Rico. He's unlucky not to score. And me and my brother noticed that, because that was at our end. And it's almost like when they've got their grid of plays, he just goes and puts himself right in the middle. I mean, even for midfielders, I say it's a difficult position to have players all around you, but Rico just strides in there like it's easy.
For the defenders, it's a nightmare situation, because you're calling, you're having to go at your midfield players, because they're thinking you should be dropping in and picking him up. But they're sort of thinking, well, it's too far deep, plus I've got 1, 2, 3 other players in front of me, which I'm looking at. So the midfield players turn around to the centre-halves, and the full-backs sort of saying, well, you just step out and you get him. But they don't want to either, because the full-back's got the City wingers.
Of course,
Or Erling Haaland's there. So he's in that no man's land that a midfield player doesn't want to drop into and a defender doesn't want to go up into. And he does find himself in those lovely little positions. Should he have scored? Being a bit, if I'm being critical,
yes,
he should have scored.
I agreed.
A player of his quality. But I think what he's trying to do is absolutely break the net.
Yes.
and rather than there's a couple of players on the line, but he's good enough to slot us.
It was like what you were saying with Delap, actually. I remember in the beginning of the show saying that you were saying Delap loves to strike the ball hard, and it was telling him sometimes you've just got to place it. Maybe felt like that's what Rico needed to do.
Well, exactly, because I think everyone in the stadium thought, yes, here's a goal, and he just needed to have that little bit of, take that little deep breath, relax, and then just place it, But again, talking about the position that he is, he's in a forward position because he understands, even as a fullback, is to be in those positions. And it don't surprise me, he's in there to be able to have a shot.
Yes.
And Pep will encourage that even more. And just to carry on that point a little bit more, he goes in those positions because what Pep wants is they want the centre-back to step out on Rico. Because the minute that happens, Haaland says, thank you very much. He just goes down his side and he's in. So he's in that position where centre-backs do not want to go and step and go on Rico, but he's also clever to receive it and then turn and play forward.
Yeah, his touch and his awareness and his intelligence is frightening, really. Right, take a little pause here because we want to hear from you always with the show. So this season what we're doing is we're asking you to send in questions you might have, but via video. And a couple of you have already done that, so we can come to them now. Let's take a look at this first question that was sent in for us this week.
Hello everybody at the studio. This is Amina from Southern California, and I'm a member of the Orange County fan club, but I'm currently stationed in Germany, so I'm down in Germany working. And I got two questions for Mr. Shaun and Mr. Steve. Mr. Shaun, what was it like playing for Manchester City during the time when the club was struggling? My second question is, what was the atmosphere like at Main Road, and how did it compare to the Etihad Stadium? Come on, City.
Come on, City. Amina, great to hear from you and great to have you on the show. Thank you. So, Shaun, begin with that first one. What was it like to play for a struggling City at that time?
It was tough. It was really tough. But I think that's also a part where we sort of gathered that never say die, because there were games when we would be struggling and it was tough, but we kept going to the end and we'd pinch a goal, we'd get one. And we started to believe that. And so through many games, we found that you started to score late goals, and we had that belief, and was able to use that as momentum throughout a lot of games. But yeah, it was a tough period. But you developed sort of mental toughness to get through that period as well.
Of course, and it's tough when you were having to do your warm-ups away from Main.
Away from Steve was saying that earlier.
But then, and actually on that, then the second part of the question, the atmosphere in Main Road, obviously that you were able to play and we're able to experience it as fans. How do the two compare? Steve, Amina wanted to know.
Well, I played here, but it was against City for Leicester. The atmosphere was different as far as I'm concerned, because Man City was a really old school, traditional, old like football ground. The atmosphere, the noise, the kickbacks, everything about it was absolutely brilliant. But as I said, when you speak about, I'd found it a little bit difficult because as a player, you want to go on the pitch before the kick-off to look at the grass, feel the grass. Is it slippy? Is it dry?
Yeah.
Get a run of the ball and stuff like that. And we weren't allowed to do that. We had to go to a school to play, to do our warm-up. And it was on, like, do you know the school with the wood floor?
Yeah.
You're asking for an injury. We used to jump on a minibus and then try and get to the ground. And then we used to sometimes have to run off the minibus, sprint into the ground, put your boots on, run out onto the pitch, and you were kicking off. You weren't getting a taste of what the atmosphere was like, what the ground was like. I couldn't get used to that, to be quite honest. But when the game did kick off and we were playing, and we had some excellent players with us as well, as I said, I think we used my first year, the second year, as a kind of that's not going to happen again. And the atmosphere in Main Road was unbelievable.
Absolutely electric, it was indeed. Well, listen, thank you, Steve, thank you, Shaun. Amina, thank you so much as well. We'll get another question at full time, so make sure you come join us. But the boys in blue are ready to head out. There they are. It's currently Manchester City 3, Ipswich 1, another 45 minutes to play. Alistair Mann is with Nicky Weaver on commentary, and I'll see you at full time. And how good did these trophies look in the stadium? Right, I'm going to grab a quick selfie and then get to my seat. Come on, City.
Thank you, Kel. Welcome back to the Etihad Stadium. The Ipswich Town players are out. Now the City players are as well. more of the ground is becoming swallowed up by the shadow of the main stand, but the part of the pitch that's still bathed in sunshine is the part of the pitch where Savinho's going to be. And in all fairness, if it was a gloomy grey day in November, I suspect he would still be lighting the Etihad Stadium up, because in that first half he was outstanding. And the funny thing is, alongside me is a former City goalkeeper, Nicky Weaver. Funny thing is, Nicky, that because Savinho's been so good, it's almost been forgotten